I think we're here at Meet the Biz.
Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, now I can.
Okay. Guess who that is? That's Hank Garrett, the one and only Hank Garrett. Here he is. There he is.
Thank you, David.
Garrett. I have to say, your visit to Performing Arts Studio West and the Meet the Biz program was, people are still talking about it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I have to thank you because I got in the mail, what is it, 2-3 weeks ago, this wonderful gift. So
Oh, yes.
Next time I see you, I gotta get it signed.
We'll love to.
And there you are.
Yes.
There you are. Car
That's what it all started for me. I was a pro wrestler before I did Car 54.
Yeah.
So, wow. And then I became a cop.
How long were you a cop?
Just a few months. And a friend of mine whose wife worked for the guy who created Car 54, Nat Hiken, got me an audition. And I went to meet Nat Hiken, who created so many television shows, the Martha Ray Show, and on and on and on and on. And they said, look, he's working on a show about cops. And I was a fledgling police officer in New York.
Right.
And I walked in and I sat down, and Nat Hiken looked at me and he said, you're Ed Nicholson. I said, oh, no, I'm Hank Garrett. He said, just the kind of dummy I'm looking for.
Oh my God, I love it.
Ed Nicholson is the character I want you to play.
Oh, this is good.
And that's how I wound up doing Car 54. Where are you? I left the police department.
Right. And there is a new life for you.
Oh, exactly. It opened the whole world. Well, Sammy Davis Jr. opened the world for me.
Wow. What a legend.
Yeah, I was a street hoodlum in New York, in Harlem.
Right.
On 111th Street. And I was always in trouble. My mother and father were fruit and vegetable peddlers. They were immigrants from Russia. And my mother's customer was the mayor of Harlem. And he said, she said, can you do something to help my son? He's always in trouble. I was fighting everybody. Well, he came to me and he said, listen, your mother wants me to take you out. Now you tell a New Yorker, I'm going to take you out. That means I'm going to kill you. And I said, my mother wants you to kill me.
Oh my God.
He said, no, I'm taking you out tonight. He said, do you have a suit? And I said, yeah, I've got a suit. He said, wear your suit. And before you do, take a bath. Well, I wore my suit and he took me to meet Sammy Davis Jr. at the Apollo Theater in New York.
Oh, wow.
And he brought me right up to his dressing room. And Sammy looked at me and said, the mayor said, you're going to go to prison or you're going to die. I said, what? He said, the way you're going.
Right.
Got me a job as a band boy for an all African-American orchestra.
Right.
And it opened up from there.
Wow.
And 20 years later, I was appearing at the Sands in Las Vegas, opening for Tony Bennett.
Right.
And Sammy was in the audience with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. And Frank Sinatra gave me a standing ovation. And Sammy came to me and said, you're a funny cat, man. Where do I know you from?
Yeah.
And I said, you don't remember me? He said, no, man, where? I said, I'm the kid that you said is going to go to prison or die. We both cried.
Yeah.
And he opened the whole world for me.
That's
So
amazing.
he was my angel.
You know, I've heard that story before, and it's always fresh to me because I've heard it from you. And
Yes.
every time I hear it, it's like, it's so enlightening and positive. And a question I have is, what got you into the, why do you think you were a bad boy?
I didn't know who I was. My father, at one point, my mother wouldn't admit she was my mother because I was born very late in life to her.
Yeah.
She was in her 40s. And I was standing next to her near the push cart that they sold fruits and vegetables out of. And the woman said, "Who is that? Is that your little boy?" And she said, "Oh, no, that's my grandson." So I said, "My mother says she's my grandmother." It didn't register. And a few years later, there was a census taker came to the house, and my father answered the door, and he said, asked my father, he said, "How many in the family?" Now, my father was in the country illegally, and he was afraid he would be sent back to Russia. So he said, there are four, a woman and her three boys. Excuse me. And who are you? I'm an uncle.
So your father said he was
He's
your
my
uncle.
uncle.
And your mother is your grandma.
And my mother's my grandmother. So I never knew who I was. So I was always angry.
Yeah.
No one would admit being my parents. And I lived on the streets. In fact, myself and a good buddy of mine, his name is George Washington Jr., we slept in cardboard boxes on the street. And we were always fighting. Wow. We fought anything and anybody. We got.
It seemed like it was the lack of love.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know who I was. Learned I couldn't trust anybody. People I thought were my parents weren't. Found out later on they were. Yeah. So it was, and I started doing comedy.
Is that one of the ways that you found love through your work?
From the audience.
Got it.
And I was on stage saying, "Can you see me and notice me for something else other than being a bad guy?"
Yeah.
And it worked.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
It was your savior. There were. Yeah. It sounds like you had many saviors: the audience, the laughter, Sammy Davis Jr.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
And boy, but I learned so many things.
Right.
One of my mentors was a guy named Sid Caesar.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I learned to do dialects watching Sid Caesar. And I wound up doing a show in London called That Was the Week That Was with David Frost.
Okay.
Because somebody recommended me.
Yeah.
And what I did was what they call dialectic gibberish.
Oh, yeah.
He would say to me, and here we have the Italian count. And I'd walk out dressed as the count. And he'd look at me and say, "How are you, sir?" And he said, "Oh, yes, the men's room is right down the hall. And if you make a left, you'll find." And next week, I was a Chinese delivery man. 一些的讲呀，我说到我个路途上呀，我开始多了 no MSG，I 唱我那起不了我。
Yeah.
So each week I was a different character
On this wonderful show. How
on
many
this.
characters do you have in your hat?
Oh, it was French and Russian and Japanese. The Japanese was based on one of I'm a grandmaster of martial arts.
Yeah.
And I trained with the greatest. And I remember one gentleman I trained with, and I looked at him and he was, oh,
Yeah.
and I said, Sensei, teacher, I don't understand. He said, Hank, when you make a left turn, I want your right foot. I said, you speak English? He said, yes, I do. I said, why? He said, would you listen to me if I spoke to you this way? Yeah. No, but when I go, you listen then.
Right. You know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s where they had different characters playing, like Peter Sellers. And he played different, he was my favorite growing up. He could just embody the character. He could have fun with it. He could, and what you do with those, it's so fun. It's enjoyable. And nowadays, of course, it's sort of like, can we do voices? Is it politically correct and all that?
Absolutely.
And the thing is, it's all about the love. It's all about the connection and bringing everybody in. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
I had a television series. I was co-starring with James Earl Jones.
Right.
And that's what brought me.
Darth Vader.
Yes. Absolutely. But we had done Shakespeare in the Park together.
Wow.
So Guy wrote a series for us, and it was called Paris. It was his name was Captain Paris of Police Department. I was Deputy Chief Inspector, his boss. Now, when I first came out to California,
right,
certain things that they knew I was from New York.
Yeah.
In one scene, I said to Jimmy, okay, you stay here. I'm going to go get the car. And they said, cut. I said, well, what was wrong? It's the line. They said, Hank, there's an R in car. Not ACAH, it's CAR. I said, really?
Yeah, but that's the way you said it.
Yes.
Go get the car.
Yeah. So, because when I came here, I spoke like this over here.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with a lot of guys in New York. And they, one time they said to me, you're going to go to New York. I said, yeah. It's going to go to your head, right?
Right.
You're going to get an award. We don't want to say he thinks who he is.
Yeah.
Never forgot that expression. He thinks who he is.
He thinks who he is.
I have two adopted brothers.
Yeah.
The Falcones.
Yeah.
My father became guardian to the Falcone boys. So the three of us slept in one bed.
Wow.
In a single bed. And one of us was a bedwetter.
Oh no. No, you're telling these stories that you have are like amazing, and you put them into a book, yes?
Yes.
This book is coming out soon.
Soon, and it's called Up from the Street.
Wow. And I'm listening to all of what you have done. You've been a policeman. You've been you're an actor. You've been an actor. You're a wrestler. You're you had the best fight scene in a movie, correct?
Yes, in fact, I got an award recently, and they took us to Vegas, and they put us up in a hotel, and I was given this award for best realistic fight scene ever in film.
I love it.
And they presented me with this wonderful award. It was a huge, round, gold-plated award. And my beautiful wife said, "Oh, what an hors d'oeuvre plate that would be."
Oh my God! What kind of hors d'oeuvres are going to be on that? Full of hors d'oeuvres.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Well, what you have shown and what you do with your life shows all of us that that we can do all these wonderful things, especially right now.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I mean, you have this book coming out. We can all write, we can all act, we could do different voices.
Oh, absolutely.
And coming from that the inside and bringing your own, what is it, flavor to it.
Yeah, your own touch, your own feel. For example, one of the things that I, when I was teaching some kids acting, if you're asked to play a character, if you, whatever it is, if you're going to be a doctor, just don't play the doctor. Create a background. Where was he from? What does he do? What did he do to become a doctor? Give him life. Don't just say, put on a stethoscope and say, "Yes, I'm Dr. Garrett." No. Tell me more about Dr. Garrett. It helps when you play that character. If you give it a before life up until the present, when you need it.
The history.
Exactly. And that it works for me. And in 3 Days of the Condor, which I wound up winning the New York Film Critics Award.
Gorgeous work.
They said, "We know you're a martial artist, but can you play an assassin?" And that's what the character called for. Yeah. The character was a CIA assassin, originally a Marine. And I came up with the idea, which of course, I brought it up to the director. I said, if they check, what did I do? I said, what about if I was a Marine? Because I love the Marines. He said, that's a great idea. So they took pictures of me in a Marine uniform when they checked my background.
Right.
Because Redford kills me in the film. And they check out to see that I went from the Marine Corps to the CIA. And then I worked with an independent, Max von Sydow, an amazing actor. Wow. I've had such good fortune of working with some of the most incredible people.
And vice versa, they've had the good fortune to work with you.
Oh, thank you.
And I am blessed to be talking to you.
Thank you, David.
Call you a friend. And thank you for your friendship and love to me.
David, we are honored to be in your presence. I promise you. It's the truth. You are such a joy to be with.
Oh, thank you. I'm a people person. I love, I'm about the love. When I see all this hate and anger in the world, I hope the one good thing that all this stuff that we're going through now, I hope we all learn how to love again for those who don't.
Yes.
And for those who do, it is even sealed more, when we can all hug again and not virtually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss the contact.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, seeing my friends and not be able to hug them and, shake their hands.
Yeah.
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 But I got to tell you, every time I've been to your class or your school, we come away with such a good feeling.
Mm.
Truly.
Yeah.
Uh, Watching you beam among these kids. You give them such drive.
Well, thank you. I mean, they love you. I mean, you felt it when you were there,
Oh,
and
I love those kids.
they're all watching you now, kids.
Ah.
No, I feel like a kid a lot of times. I still feel like I'm 14, and I have to like I look into the camera. Oh yeah, okay, I have a little of this. Wash. But this is a blessing. I hope we can do this again. I want you to stay safe, your family to stay safe,
Yeah.
and let's.
Deanna Marie and I speak about you so often,
Uh,
and she is so amazing.
she is.
I am so blessed.
Well, I saw her peek through the curtain just a you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to start watching this again.
Oh my God!
Open it up, and I look forward to very soon, maybe watching an episode next to you.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Thank you, Hank. Hank
Thank
Garrett.
you, David. Thank you for having us on your show.
Well, we love you. At Performing Arts Studio West, Meet the Biz, the world. So thank you.
Thank you, David.
Okay. Now, I always have to go, okay, how do you stop recording? And we just say, we love you.